Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot if this is your first time here. Either way, thank you so much for joining me for our pick a card reading today. Now, our topic for today's reading was chosen with a very specific intention, as you can tell by the title, a message for when you're overthinking everything. So, if your mind has been running in circles today or you feel like you're trapped inside your own thoughts, this reading is for you. We're asking Spirit to help us quiet the mental noise, help you see the truth underneath all of the overthinking going on, and help you get grounded again through that reassurance and advice. So without further ado, let us choose our piles for today. We're choosing with 3 different tarot decks using the Nine of Swords. How fitting, as the Nine of Swords in tarot represents anxiety and overthinking. For pile number 1 over here on the left, your pile leader or deck today is Tarot of the Divine. And there is your Nine of Swords. For pile 2, your pile leader / deck today is Tarot Landscapes. And here is your Nine of Swords. And last but not least, for a wonderful pile number 3, your pile leader / deck today is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. And there is your Nine of Swords, or specifically this deck calls it the Nine of Challenges. So, quick refresher, pile 1, Tarot of the Divine, pile 2, Tarot Landscapes, pile 3, the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Though, as I always say, you are perfectly welcome to pause right here if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. In my personal suggestion, if you're looking for a method, I always say close your eyes, and especially with an overthinking reading, take in the deepest breath, most calming breath you've taken all day. Let it back out and ask your spirit guides, please give me a number 1 through 3. And whatever number is the first one that comes to your mind, don't second guess it. That is the pile I recommend you choose. But whichever way you do choose, you can even just choose on which picture or card speaks the most to you. You can drop down to the description box when you are ready. Find the timestamp there for your pile, and I will see you in our message about your overthinking and the reassurance and advice from Spirit to help ground you once again. See you in your reading, everyone. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on a message for when you're overthinking everything. Totally been there, totally done that myself, as we all have pile number 1, but let's balm some of those worries. As you recall, you were drawn to the Tarot of the Divine as your deck today. A very beautiful choice. We have the Nine of Swords here too, which almost looks like the Oracle of Delphi. So I wonder, pile number 1, if it's something in the future that you're worried about. Something kind of looming. Maybe you've heard some rumor of something that might come forward, or it's like you feel like you're seeing signs for something, but you're not exactly sure that you're correct in your intuition. Let us put this back into the deck and draw your tarot spread. Actually, we're going to do 2 tarot spreads today, a little bit different from my usual method. I wanted to use 2 different tarot decks today, but your main cards, of course, will be the deck you chose. So Spirit, calling on for the highest best good of pile 1, tell me more about their overthinking and what you want to say to them about that. Thank you. Okay, we have some ones that are quite prominent for sure. And there is number 5. Thank you, Spirit. And then we will draw from the second tarot deck I mentioned. So it's my little pocket tarot. And Spirit, can you provide some clarification cards on the same 5 that we just drew? Thank you. Okay, there's 1. Oh, well, 2. Hey, what do you know? 2 for the price of 1. 3, 4... and there is 5. Beautiful. Okay, let's reveal some cards. Pile number 1. Thank you for your patience as I drew those. So for the first tarot deck, your main one, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. Talk about these more in a moment, of course. We have the Page of Swords reversed. Okay, so lots of air energy so far, pile number 1, that tends to, I mean, it sounds cliche because we're doing a reading on overthinking, but air in tarot is the suit of the mind, aka when that is out of balance, tends to be or mean that you're anxious or overthinking about something, especially too with 2 court cards here. Although knights tend to represent action and pages tend to represent exploring something or like being new to something. And then we have the moon reversed. Okay. I think what Spirit wants to help you with today, pile 1, just based on the moon that just popped out, is they want to help unveil an illusion. There's something you're seeing or that you're not seeing about the situation you're overthinking or worried about clearly, or it's like they want to pull the veil down on at least the current way you're perceiving it so that you see it for the truth. Okay, so this might be kind of a truth-revealing reading to help balm some of your worries. And then we have Temperance, okay, bringing more balance and moderation to something. Wonderful. And last but not least, we have the Queen of Wands. Okay, the card of confidence, especially when it comes to, things that we're ambitious about, our creativity, other things related to fire in tarot. Let's keep going. We'll have the clarity cards pop out. All right, we have the that's the 9 of Wands. Maybe a bit tired about something. Then we have the 4 of Pentacles over the Page of Swords. Then we have the Knight of Cups. Okay, yes, that does clear up for me, pile 1, that Spirit is like, okay, we're going to come swooping in like a knight on shining armor, and we're going to help pile number 1 feel better about this thing they're not perceiving clearly, because if you describe the Knight of Cups as a person, pile number 1, it kind of is that knight in shining armor, especially so compared to like the other knights. It tends to be kind of like the dreamy knight, so to speak. And then we have, for Temperance, the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so an element of fairness, which is very interesting because Temperance already means like moderation and balance, pile number 1, as does the 6 of Pentacles, but it's more balance and moderation and fairness in terms of resources and materials specifically. And then last but not least, we have the Empress reversed with the Queen of Wands. Okay, so quite a clear picture here, pile number 1. As I said in the very beginning, because you were drawn to the Tarot of the Divine as your main deck, and that particular depiction of the 9 of Swords in that deck is, I believe, the Oracle of Delphi. And if I'm not incorrect, I think it's specifically a reference to the story of, I think it's Oedipus Rex. I think the picture in that card is when the Oracle predicts the future that is the tragedy of the story of Oedipus Rex, right? Basically, that self-fulfilling prophecy of, by doing something to avoid something else, you're basically creating the path that leads to that self-fulfilling prophecy achieving the thing that you didn't want in the first place. That's what I mean by self-fulfilling prophecy, and that was the reference from that particular card. And I mentioned that, so a little bit of a history, I guess, folklore snippet there at the beginning of your reading. I mentioned that because, as I said, I think this is a more future-oriented thing that you're worried about. I think you might believe that something is set in stone, or you believe that there's absolutely no way that you can avoid something, hence when I reference like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or it could also be that you're overthinking about something that feels like an endless loop that you can't get out of, okay? Like, maybe it feels like everything that you do to kind of get away from this thing that you're afraid of or anxious about, it just keeps coming up in your face, or it's like you don't really see a way forward that leads to any other outcome than the one that you're worried about. Okay, especially because I think, let's see here. Yes, yeah, especially with that air energy in the very beginning. It's a lot of thinking here that's going on in your mind. Obviously, because, well, yeah, you're overthinking, hence the reading. But Knight of Swords, Page of Swords reversed. I think you've been trying to take action towards this thing that you're worried about, hence the Knight of Swords at the very beginning. But that's that tiredness feeling coming in of the 9 of Wands. That is the clarifier here. The Knight of Wands is like you've been battling, you've been struggling with something, and you're just tired, like a soldier on a battlefield that, you're still bleeding, you're still trying to patch up your wounds, but you have to keep going. It's that kind of energy, pile number 1. And it's leading to probably that mental stress and the overthinking that you're doing right now, the anxiety of the Page of Swords reversed in the second position. And then what's interesting, though, is that we have the Four of Pentacles as the clarifier. And the Four of Pentacles is the energy of wanting to reserve our resources. That's why he's clutching those coins or those pentacles very close, pile one. Okay. I think there might be an aspect of this too where you might be limited in some of your action because of either resources that are being withheld from you, or like you're not able to access them for whatever reason. And or it feels like that stasis feeling of, what's the best way to put it? Like if you take action, it might cost you money or resources to do so. And you're sort of wondering, was it better just to kind of bide my resources and my time and see if maybe I should think more and wait before I take this action. But then you get stuck in that analysis paralysis of, well, oh God, like, is it better for me to take the risk with this, with my money to try to do this thing, or my time, my resources, etc.? Or is it better to hold on to what I have there, just like the Four of Pentacles guy does in his little throne? He like clutches so close. And or it could also be that part of what's making you worry is like someone else is not releasing money or funds for something that you're trying to do. This could even be a situation, for some of you, pile number one, where it's like you're worried about work or some sort of related thing where you've had to pull and haul a lot of, what's the word? Like pressure behind you. It's almost like Atlas holding up the world on his shoulders. Hence that energy of the Knight of Swords clarified by a Nine of Wands. Like, I'm going very speedy. That's the Knight of Swords' energy too. I forgot to mention that, pile number one. The Knight of Swords is the fastest knight in the entire deck. So I think that's another problem that might be making you anxious, is like how fast everything is going. And you're tired. You're like, man, I'm burnt out. I don't have the resources I need. So that Four of Pentacles might be someone in the situation that could release the resources to you, be it either money or time, but they're just not. Therefore, leading you to kind of trip up or feel like you're not supported enough, or feel like you're not, you're not going to be able to get to the right outcome. And that's where that self-fulfilling prophecy comes in again, pile one. Maybe if you're finding like that interpretation resonates with you, is you think, well, of course I'm going to fail if I'm not giving, or I'm not being given the proper resources to do this thing that I've been told to do. Okay, so it's that kind of energy is what I'm feeling going into this reading. The beauty, though, pile one, is, as I said when these cards popped out with the Knight of Cups and the Moon reversed. The Moon reversed is Spirit saying, okay, we're going to break an illusion for you. We're going to tear the veil down on what you're not seeing clearly. And the Knight of Cups, as I said, is kind of the most, it feels weird to describe Spirit in this way, but like it's like the dreamy knight of the deck in tarot. It is the literally knight on a white steed coming to save you from what's going on, specifically through information that will help you see it in a different way. Now, of course, I don't know all the details of what's going on, pile number one, for each and every one of you, but I can tell you this. What Spirit wants to say is fairness and balance and moderation is coming, especially for those of you that are really worried about, say, like resources or money being released in some way. The Six of Pentacles, pile number one here, I'll even show it to you up closer. Look at that. It's someone holding in authority, because, look at his fancy clothes, holding a balance scales and giving money to two different people that are poorer than him. This is why the Six of Pentacles represents both fairness and then like equal distribution of resources. And also it can represent charity sometimes. So I wonder maybe too, if you're down on your luck and you're waiting for like help from maybe a charity especially to help you, that's a really good sign. But in two, just in general with the Temperance card next to it, as they clarify each other, it's like returning to balance, okay? Things are a lot more balanced than they seem. So it might even be that you don't know for sure that you're not going to get the resources you need, pile one. You might be just kind of assuming that, which is, based on everything that's going on so far, I wouldn't blame you. If I were in your position, pile one, I would think the same thing. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm never going to get the support I need, or I'm never going to get this thing that I need to make sure that I'm no longer tired and I can accomplish what I'm trying to do. But Spirit is saying, just pause for a moment. Just hold on for a moment. Balance and moderation and fairness is coming. And then we also have the Queen of Wands clarified by the Empress reversed. So the Empress reversed, pile number one, tells me that what's out of balance right now because of its reversed position is the qualities of the situation regarding nurturing things, creativity too. So this might even be like a creative project related thing. really depends on your situation, because in general, though, like the Empress does represent like creative energies because it is the feminine energy card in tarot. So right now that's out of balance. But you have the Queen of Wands next to it. And the Queen of Wands pile number 1 is the Queen of Confidence, as I first said when she popped out, the Queen of Creativity. She's also the Queen of Ambitions and getting things done. And this particular interpretation of the Queen of Wands, now please forgive me, I do not know off the top of my head what Polynesian goddess this is. I know it's a Polynesian goddess, but she is, I think, at least based on this card, associated with volcanoes. Therefore, almost kind of like creation energy, because what do volcanoes do? Pile number 1, well, yeah, I guess they kind of destroy because, lava, but after that, there is creation because islands are formed and land and rock is formed off of what they emit, right? Lava hardens, cools, turns into land. So yes, right now might feel like you're kind of going through a boiling moment of lots of lava, but it's creating fertile ground, because that's another thing about volcanic rock and ash, fertile ground, right? That is not currently fertile for the thing that you're trying to do, hence why the Empress is reversed right now, but that'll turn around, okay? So it's kind of a little bit of a trial by fire, running through fire situation, which of course is not fun, pile number 1, but Spirit is assuring you that after that fire, there is peaceful, cool land to walk on. It's not going to feel unsteady. It's not going to feel like everything is helter-skelter and everything's on fire, like not anymore. It's going to be like, okay, everything's cooled down now. The ash and the smoke has cleared. Okay, so just be reassured. That's what Spirit is saying. Now, I do have 2 final oracle cards to draw for you today. So usually I have 4 in each of my pick a card readings, but with today's extra tarot cards, I only had room for 2 decks. So first we're going to ask for advice or like a message from angels. I feel like angels are really good about readings regarding overthinking. So angels for pile 1 today collectively. What else would you like to say to them about this situation? Thank you. Okay, I'm feeling this one back here. We have, composure. Speaking of fire, there's blue fire in the angel's hands. A little bit of a synchronicity in the symbolism there. Okay, blue fire in the angel's hands. And then we also have the Healing Spirits Oracle for your final oracle card today. It's interesting too, pile 1. I just realized this. Composure almost looks like a message of balance as well, because of the 2 balances of like the fire in the angel's hands, just like how Temperance and the 6 of Pentacles represent balance. So really the main thing that's going to solve is, or like resolve itself, pile 1, is balance in this situation. And then we have, oh, beautiful, you are on the right path. Look at that, pile number 1. Okay, so if you needed any more reassurance after all the other cards, that's just another one. Let's see, that's number 26 in that deck. You are on the right path, so do not doubt what's happening, pile number 1. I know it's easy. I know when you're overthinking and you're anxious, you're probably wondering, like, holy crap, should I just change my gear? Should I change my direction, my course? Spirit is saying no. You're on the right path. You're exactly where you need to be. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Just keep on an even keel. Keep on the wind that you're going through. Okay, or the wind that you're following, I guess. I don't know. I was trying to use nautical terms, right? You know what I mean? The wind that the ship follows. That blows through the sails. And everything will be fine. You'll get to that place of greater balance. And then we have composure, too. That might be a little bit of advice, pile 1, to, and I know this is difficult because I do this too whenever I'm anxious or I'm overthinking. Sometimes, even when we're panicking on the inside about something, our best course is to put on a mask of composure on the outside. I'm not saying don't feel your feelings of anxiety. I would never tell you not to feel that. Okay. It's just that because of the angel card of composure, this might be just a little nudge of advice from the angel saying, just until things straighten themselves out, and maybe through this reading you'll feel a bit more comfortable, even looking more composed or feeling more composed, just because you're reassured that this is going to be okay. But even till that point, choose to act with composure. Okay, that's just one little nudge of advice from this particular reading. But it also means, like I said, with the imagery of balance in that particular card, in combination with that Six of Pentacles and the Temperance card, things will be balanced. Okay, so I don't know what's out of whack right now, other than it really seems like from your reading, probably like finances, probably like how much like resources people are giving you or that you're able to obtain. But that will come back into balance, pile number 1, okay? Beautiful. So don't doubt your path. Don't doubt the situation. Things will get better. Things will become more balanced. Okay? I'm just making sure there's no other messages here. I'm going to look at the numerology. See, we have a 26, which is 8. See, 3, 6, 4, and 9. Okay, pretty even balance here. And then most of your other cards are court cards, which I don't always necessarily associate with numbers. But we do have 14 here, 5 with Temperance. Okay. So nothing numerologically necessarily stands out here. Well, that looks to be at pile number 1. Okay, so that is your message today for whatever it is you're overthinking about. I hope that this reading will grounded you, number 1, maybe brought some of the anxiety down, especially with the reassurance that Spirit is providing you. You really don't need to do much, pile number 1, other than maybe the little tiny bit of a nudge of composure advice. But other than that, Spirit's like, just keep going, keep trucking, you're going to be fine. Okay, so hope that reading helped you. Hope you liked it. Hope it resonated. If so, please like, comment, subscribe. You know the whole YouTube spiel. You know how it works. But thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on a message for what you're overthinking about, or even if you're just overthinking everything. Been there, done that myself. Totally can sympathize, pile 2. But this reading should help you find some reassurance and some advice from Spirit to ground you once more, as we discussed in the intro. Without further ado, let us chat about your card today. We have the 9 of Swords from the Tarot Landscapes deck. But as we always do when we choose with decks, I like to put the pile leader back into it, so that's available for the message if need be. And let's draw those cards now. And actually, if you're familiar with my videos, we're going to do a bit of a departure from my typical structure today. We're going to work with 2 oracle cards and 2 tarot decks. So let's get shuffling. Spirit, for my wonderful pile number 2 today, can you tell me a little bit more about what they're overthinking about and what you want to tell them on that subject for, of course, their highest best good? Thank you. There we go. I don't know if there's just something in the air lately, pile number 2. Maybe just bad juju vibes, but I've been quite anxious myself, so it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this reading today. I was like, you know what, I've been really anxious. I bet you some of you out there have been really anxious. Why not do a reading for overthinking? Beautiful. There are your first 5 cards, and then the second tarot deck. We'll shuffle that one. Spirit, same thing. Can you provide me clarifiers on the first cards, please? Thank you. Okay. Actually, I'm going to take that one right next to it. It wanted to come out. I will take it. So, thank you for your patience as I drew your cards. Pile 2. First up to bat we have is the 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, so I think a lot of you, this might be related to something from the past, or it's something in the future that you're worried about that is affected by the past. Okay, and I say that because the Six of Cups tends to be a card of nostalgia or like our birth family or things from the past. Okay, so keep that in mind. We also have the Two of Cups reversed, possibly a relationship from the past. And when I say relationship, doesn't have to mean romantic relationship, but Two of Cups tends to relate to relationships, okay? Then we have another reversal. We have that is the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay, lack of satisfaction with something, or it is an oasis in a desert, so that almost makes me think of maybe scarcity type fears. Then we have, oh boy, another reversal. This time we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, but it's reversed, so that tends to mean a good thing pile number 2. And last but not least, we have that is the Death card reversed. Okay, and death tends to represent change in tarot most of the time. Beautiful. And let's pull those clarifiers I asked for. So first up to bat, Temperance. I've had this card a lot today for all the piles. So Temperance over the Six of Cups reversed. Okay. Three of Pentacles reversed over the Two of Cups reversed. Okay, well, if it is a relationship you've been worried about, pile number 2, or you've been overthinking about, probably most likely there was an element of a lack of teamwork in some way that maybe caused the rift or lack of harmony, or like different goals. You didn't necessarily share goals with a person. And then we have death again, but upright, clarifying the Nine of Cups reversed. You might have thought that the relationship was going well, but it changed. Like you thought, oh, this is like my oasis in the desert, but then with the energy of death, as I said, means change. It's like, oh, where'd this come from? Maybe it kind of seemed out of left field. Let's keep going. Then we have the Seven of Swords reversed. Okay, well, that is a bit of a plot twist. And then we've got, beautiful, the Five of Pentacles reversed, pile number 2. Okay, I will tell you this. If there's anything you walk away from this reading from today, okay, it would be the hardship is coming to an end with whatever it is you're overthinking. And I say that because of that Five of Pentacles reverse that just popped out. Now, looking at this in greater detail, as I said in the very beginning, as I adjust in my chair here, we have the Six of Cups reversed with the Temperance card. So Six of Cups reversed, as I said, tends to represent things from the past that are negative, clarified by the Temperance card, pile number 2. Temperance usually deals with having like moderation or balance in things. So maybe the original inciting incident of this whole situation you're worried about did happen in the far past, or I guess it could be the recent past too, but mainly it seems like there might have been imbalance in some way, or like lack of moderation. I don't know if maybe a person involved had like moderation issues with things. Maybe they dealt with like addictions. That can be like a Temperance with a Six of Cups reverse type of energy. It can also mean that someone involved like was not balanced in other ways, like emotionally, or I'm trying to think of different examples, but in general, take that as the theme of balance or moderation and apply it to the past. And then we have the Two of Cups reversed with the Three of Pentacles reversed. Once again, as I said, that's kind of a feeling of disharmony in a relationship because of a lack of teamwork, not getting along, things like you not having shared goals. That's another way that might be interpreted. Either way, it just caused disharmony. This could be a romantic relationship for some of you from the past that's been bothering you. For some of you, as I said too, I just don't always read, well, actually 100% of the time I don't read relationship cards as 100% romantic. It can also be interpreted as platonic. So it could be a sibling relationship. It could also be like a friend that you've, split apart from. It could be, a family member other than a sibling. It just really depends on your situation. But that's the kind of energy I'm seeing leading into this. And then we have the Nine of Cups reversed with the Death card. Okay. That is the heart of the matter with the central position, as I call it in my spread, pile number 2. And what that means is what felt like an oasis in the desert that you lost, or to say that a little bit more succinctly, feeling like you're walking through a desert without an oasis to be found, okay? Lack of emotional satisfaction, that's another word we can use for the Nine of Cups reversed. That is changing, okay? The reason why it is changing is because of the cards here in the future. First up, we have the 8 of Swords reversed, clarified by the 7 of Swords reversed, pile number 2. And quite frankly, what that means is there's change coming from the Death card in terms of being freed, hence the 8 of Swords reversed, because of a deception revealed. There's something coming along with this situation where I don't know if someone was trying to get away with something or they were trying to be sneaky about something. Maybe that's also what caused the disharmony that we were talking about before. Or maybe you suspected them of something. That could be another thing. But you just maybe never had the 100% proof of it. Or it's like they weren't being 100% honest. That's generally the energy of the 7 of Swords. But either way, because it is in the reversed position energy, pile number 2, that means they're getting revealed. That means the truth is coming out. Okay, so if you're worried about maybe someone getting away with something, or if you're worried about like never finding out the truth is coming. That's what that 7 of Swords reversed means, especially next to an 8 of Swords reversed, which is like being freed. You were trapped before because of this, and then deception revealed, oh, now I'm free. I'm not stuck anymore. Okay, now I can, even if it doesn't mean literally stuck, it can mean mentally stuck in some way. Maybe that's kind of what has been making you overthink and making you anxious, is because, man, you've been stuck in this loop of worrying about all this here, but like maybe you're wondering if you're perceiving it correctly, and then boom, truth comes out. You're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I was seeing it objectively, or I was seeing it right, or now this thing came out, and now I know for sure that this was not a good thing. Okay. Or that I was correct in my perception of this past event, or with this person from my past could be another way that that's interpreted. And then at the very end, as I promised, I said, if there's anything you take away from this reading, pile number 2, it's that the hardship is coming to an end. What was not changing before, and that's interesting because you got death twice. You got death up right here, and you got it reversed as your final main tarot card. What was not changing before because of its reversed energy will change because there's an overcoming of hardship, hence the 5 of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so please, please, please be reassured. The truth is coming out. You will be able to hear the whole story at some point. And the thing that felt like it was not changing will. Okay, that's what Spirit wants to say to you today about that reassurance. Now, I do have additional cards to pull for you. I actually do have 2 Oracle decks today. Usually I have 4, but because of this special spread we're using today, I only have room for 2. So first up, we have a card from the Angel Oracle, or Angel Guide Oracle, I think it's technically called. Anyways, I always put them out in the description if you want to know what decks I use, but I thought asking angels today would be a good type of source of information for a reassurance reading. So angels for pile number 2 collectively, could you tell me a little bit more about the situation, or what do you want them to know about what they're overthinking or anxious about? Okay, I'm feeling drawn to this one. We have no. That's interesting. I will draw an extra tarot card on that for you specifically, pile 2. No. If you're asking a question, pile number 2, that might be an answer from the angels, that the answer is no. Okay, but I do see that even if, well, I suppose it depends on if you wanted to know or not, but I do see, like, good things coming out of it, even if, like, you didn't want a no from an answer, but I will draw an extra tarot card on that just to be sure. But let's draw your Healing Spirits Oracle as well. Okay, Spirits otherwise for the highest best good of pile 2, what else do you want to say to them about this situation? Right there, thank you. Ooh, speaking of freedom, we had that theme with the 8 of Swords, remember? Being freed from something. Happiness is freedom from fear. 24. Are you afraid of something, pile 2? Like, are you legit afraid of something? Maybe that's what's been going on, too. And maybe you're afraid of this person from your past. Oh, boy. That's... Oh, I meant to say, oh, boy. I said, oh, boy. But, oh, boy. God, no wonder why you're anxious then, if that's the case. Well, my sympathies if that's the issue, pile number 2. Especially if you're coming from a place of fear. Or maybe you're afraid they'll come back, or you're afraid that something will happen with them again. But that, thankfully though, like the tarot cards have said that that's changing. They'll be caught, or they'll be like that deception's revealed, or the truth comes out. What seems like it wasn't changing before in your favor will. So that basically could mean pile number 2, that this is Spirit saying basically you're going to be free from fear. Especially because we had that reiterated with the 8 of Swords, being freed from something. You're no longer in a cage or stuck or mentally afraid of something, okay? Because someone gets caught with something. All right. So be reassured once again, because that's that synchronicity there. There's like a double enforced message. And then, yeah, let's talk about the no. I'm really curious. I'll actually draw my little mini tarot on that one, just because we don't have a lot of room on the table. But Spirit, can you tell me a little bit more, or Angel specifically, what do you mean by the no? What's no? Maybe a card or 2? Oh boy, well I can't take the whole deck. I wish I had enough room for 10 more cards, but I don't. Let's shuffle that one more time to be sure. Okay, once again. All the cards just want to come out. Okay. Apologize, pile 2. I'm like shuffling 3 times in a row. I usually don't do it that much, but I just want to be like absolutely sure that I picked the right cards. Okay, that one for sure. We have, the World, which did kind of pop out in one of the times that like a whole group of them flew out. Oh, okay. So the World pile number 2 tends to mean the end of something. I think you want something to come to an end, or you're wondering if it will. That's the clarifier on the no card. So basically, those are angels saying there's a no that's an answer to something, or maybe like you're trying to say no to someone else that maybe you're afraid of or you want to go away. All right, and what that means is you're being reassured that the cycle is coming to an end. That's what the World means, because it's the last card in the major arcana. So it's the very end of, like, I guess if you were to compare your life to a book, and then you've been in a certain chapter that obviously, well, hasn't been super fun, just to say the least, or put it the lightest. That chapter's coming to a close. That's what the World card means. Okay? Real closure. Real total end to something that you've seemed, to me at least from my interpretation, you seem to want to come to an end. Okay. So just be reassured, pile number 2. Okay, it's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be free from something. The truth will come out in the end. It won't feel like walking through a desert anymore with no oasis in sight. Hardship will come to an end. That's another aspect of this. So lots of blessings are coming your way because of this spread that I'm seeing here, pile number 2. Okay. And I also see that no card is maybe a card of protection, because she literally in front of her, she's crossing her hands like this. I don't know if you see that, but like literally she's like guarding her own body. She says, no, it's almost like water off of a duck's back. I reject whatever this is. Okay, so that's another thing, is if you're trying to reject something, if you're trying to push something away, you also have a lot of blessings coming in those efforts to push something away and protect yourself. Okay? The chapter will come to a close, the truth will come out, the hardship comes to an end, and you will be free from whatever it is that has been bothering you with this situation, okay? So I'm happy to report good outcomes coming, and I hope that that reading provided you the reassurance and the advice that you needed based on the thing that you've been worried or overthinking about, okay? So that's your reading for today, my wonderful pile number 2. I hope that it helped you. I hope that you're no longer anxious, and if so, if it resonated, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. You know the spiel by now. You know how it works. I just say it because every little bit does help the channel quite a lot in helping it grow and keeping the mission going of empowering people and providing clarity and peace and calm. So thank you if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not all 3. And as we say in our traditional Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile number 2. A lot more calm rest of your day, of course, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on a message of, well, when you're anxious, when you're overthinking. And of course, as I described in the intro, the purpose of this reading is to calm you down, provide some reassurance, and get you grounded again. So, as you recall, you were drawn to the Forest of Enchantment Tarot as your pile leader / deck today. And this is the 9 of Swords / challenges, as it's called in this deck, for you. Very fitting for the description of anxiety. We have spiders, we have a child kind of hiding, everything looks spooky. Almost kind of reminds me of the spooky woods in Snow White, but as we always do when we choose with tarot decks, I'm going to put it right back into the deck so it's available for the message. And if you're familiar with my readings, we're doing a bit of a different setup today with the cards. We're actually pulling 2 tarot decks. Oopsie, I'm going to shuffle that again. And then we also will only have 2 oracle decks today, but I just thought, why not switch it up and see. So, Spirit calling on you for the highest best good of pile 3 today. Pile 3 is overthinking, and they're worried about something, they're anxious. Can you tell me more about the situation, what you want to say to them on this particular matter? Thank you. All right. There we go. There's your main 5 tarot cards, pile 3. And then here comes a bit of a switch up of my usual structure. Now we pull from one of the mini decks, just for extra clarifiers. So, Spirit for pile 3's message. Can you give me 5 clarifiers for their main tarot cards? Thank you. Okay. So 2 already popped out. Spoiler alert. The Moon and the Lovers reversed. And this one right here. Beautiful. Okay, thanks for your patience as I drew your cards, pile 3. Let's look at your main ones. We have the 5 of Pentacles, or Boons as it's known in this particular deck. Okay, definitely can see why you're overthinking and anxious, because the 5 of Pentacles, pile 3, represents a hardship. We literally have 2 poor kids stuck out in the cold trying to figure out what to do, and they have barely any food to share. They're like, man, food is scarce, we're cold, we're freezing. And it's sad because there's actually a really warm house up there, but it's like they're just not seeing it, or they weren't welcomed into it. Though I do see here, it's interesting, the berries that are around them are available to them. They're just not looking at them, and there's a whole trail of them that leads to the warm house. So that might be a little bit of a glimpse into part of the message here from Spirit, that there's a way out of this hardship that you're not seeing. Okay. Then we have the Liar, or it's known in most decks as the Devil, but reversed. So freeing ourselves from something that has been holding us back. Then we have the Hermit reversed, another major arcana, look at that. Hermit reversed is something coming to light, something being brought out of darkness into light, or something out of hiding into public eye. Sometimes that's another interpretation for the Hermit. Then we have the 10 of Challenges, reverse / swords. Okay, so that's a good sign to get in the near future position, pile 3. It means you've been going through a really difficult time. Spirit's acknowledging that, especially with the 5 of swords, or I'm sorry, pentacles, on top of a 10 of swords having popped out. But it's in reversed, pile number 3. So that means this stuff you've been going through is getting better. But let's look at the last card to be sure. And then we have the 4 of Cups reversed. Yes, speaking of not noticing things, it's interesting. I talked about that in your 5 of Pentacles card, pile 3, because I was like, well, there's berries around them, and if they would just turn around to eat them, and it would lead them a whole trail to a warm place to stay, but it's like they're just not noticing them. And then boom, you have the card pops out of in tarot that literally means, oh, I finally noticed something. That's what the 4 of Cups reversed means. Okay, so bit of a synchronicity there. I'm excited to see what else pops out with the clarifiers. So first up, we have the Moon, as you already saw. Okay, so yes, once again, just another reiteration. Apologies for the repetitiveness, pile 3, but Spirit is saying there's something you're not seeing clearly here. You're not noticing something that could help you. Okay, that's what the Moon means, next to the 5 of Pentacles, especially with that particular depiction with the berries up to the house. And then, oops, that was already right side up, that's right, because it popped out. We have the Lovers reversed. And, you know, sometimes people interpret the Lovers as, you know, the stereotypical romance, right? Sometimes another more traditional interpretation means choices. Lovers can represent a choice. Reversed, it can mean we're having a hard time making a choice, or it could also be there is a relationship in disharmony here, especially next to the Devil reversed. Like we're freeing ourselves from a bad relationship, or we're freeing ourselves from, or we've been trying to at least, from a lack of choice or an inability to make a choice, okay? So that's the path that you've been kind of going on so far. Maybe that's why you've been worrying so much, pile 3, because you're like, man, I need to get away from this hardship. And then it's like, but I feel like I have no choice. I feel like I'm kind of trapped. But the beauty is that they're reversed, pile number 3, which means that's changing here. And then in the present position, we have the Hermit reversed, clarified by beautiful. Speaking of the 9 of Swords that we used for the pile leaders, the 9 of Swords reversed, pile number 3, that means your anxiety is coming to an end, especially because of the Hermit reversed, which means, together with the clarity of them combined, it means that something is coming to light that will help reduce your anxiety, or something coming out of its shell, out of hiding. All right. Let's see where this keeps going. Then we have, Justice. Look at all these major arcana you have, pile number 3. Jesus. Justice is something being fair once again. Something being in your favor. Maybe literally you've had a legal battle recently. Justice, not reversed, upright in that situation can mean positive things. So if it's a legal battle that you've been worrying about, pile number 3, it's going to go well. It's gonna be fine, okay? And then that clarifying the 10 of Swords reversed can mean like we've been at the absolute rock bottom, but then through the power of justice, we overcome what felt like a dark night of the soul. One of the worst moments of our lives, but it gets better. And then we have the Page of Swords. What an interesting plot twist. Exploring new thoughts, exploring new ways of thinking. Because of the 4 of Cups reversed. Well, that's funny. What a pun. Spirit has a sense of humor today. So yes, the 4 of Cups, as I said, represents we notice something. We're finally like paying attention to something. And the Page of Swords is like, oh, well, what can I do with this thing that I just noticed? Okay, and then things happen with speed, because air is the fastest suit in tarot. All right. And especially good sign for starting new things, because the page, my friends, represents new beginnings, at least in terms of like when we're trying to start new things. It's like youthful energy. It's almost like child energy in terms of being exuberant for something, or wanting to learn something, or starting something new, okay? So what a situation you've been in, pile 3. No wonder why you're anxious. Holy crap. Yes, hardship with that 5 of Pentacles. You feel maybe trapped. You feel like you're unable to make a choice of some sort. I'm not saying too many more details specifically on your situation other than that. But I will say, as I said before, there's something you're not noticing about the situation that you're in that could help you out of it. Because we have the moon, as I said, is an illusion of some sort based on the hardship that you're experiencing, okay? And because of that card with the 5 of Pentacles spoons, with the berry bush leading up to the house, I feel like it's like a resource that is around you that you're not taking advantage of that would help you. Like if you just turned and looked, which you will, you're on that path right now, pile number 3, because the 4 of Cups is the outcome reverse, which means, I looked around and I finally noticed that thing was there the whole time, like that I've needed that could help me out of this situation, okay? But even before that, pile number 3, there's something coming along that will reduce your anxiety because of like truth coming to light, or because of some sort of, as I said with the Hermit reverse, it's like something coming out of hiding that's like, oh, here I am now. So I almost wonder like if you're waiting on information to be found in some way. Like, I don't know if you're waiting on, like, especially for those of you that maybe have, like, a legal thing going on right now, like, you're waiting for information to come to light. That might be, like, one interpretation of the Hermit reversed right that way. Or it could also be that, like, you need someone to find something and you're not sure they'll find it, and then you're like, oh. Finally it clicks, they find it. And it's kind of been a truth that's been there all along. But it's like someone points it out, or you finally glimpse it and you're like, oh. And that's what helps you get on the path towards reducing your anxiety. Okay, so you're very close to that truth revealed, pile number 3, that will help you, or that thing coming to light or out of its shell that will help you. Because this 9 of Swords reversed and the Hermit reverse is in the present position. This is like right now. And then you're well on your way to your path to noticing like even a greater thing that will help you because of that 9 of Cups. I'm sorry, not 9, it's the 4 of Cups reversed. And it's interesting because so far you've been suffering so badly with what's going on with that Ten of Swords as reversed as the near future. But the beauty of it being reversed in that position, pile number 3, is it means you've been at rock bottom here so far. Then the tide starts to turn. The way starts to change. You know, you enter the spring after a metaphorical winter, so to speak, because of justice being served. And then it's like, oh God, now I'm free. Now I've noticed this thing. This thing here will help me. Now I can explore the thing that I want to explore, be it the truth. That's another thing that swords can mean in tarot because it's the air element. Be it some sort of new way of thinking, some, new lease on life, things like that. An absolutely beautiful energy change here, pile 3, from, well, I'm just going to say it kind of feels like doom and gloom down here, even though it really isn't because of that moon illusion. Not that you're not feeling like a stressful situation, pile number 3, not to diminish that, because of course you are. That's why you came to this reading, right? That's what the reading is for. But at least it feels like doom and gloom. And then this energetic change of, okay, now I'm not so uncertain. Okay, my anxiety relieves. Ooh, justice is served. Boom. Now I can move forward. Like new beginnings, like that youthful energy of the page. Now, I do have 2 oracle cards to pull for you today, pile number 3. Usually I do 4 with my readings, but because of how many tarot cards we have, I just limited it to 2 today. So first, we're going to ask angels to give us some advice or kind of a comment on your situation. So angels for pile number 3 today. Collectively, what would you like to tell them about this situation that seems to be perking up? What do you want them to know? Maybe something that will help them notice the thing that... Well, okay, that was quite obvious. We have composure. It's interesting. I think pile 1 got this angel card today, too. We have composure. Someone that looks very peaceful. They have 2 flames in their hands. Everything is calm. And then we have that sword pop up again. Laying down the sword. But swords, as I said, also represent truth. Especially in tarot. And then we have the Healing Spirits Oracle. All right, spirits around pile 3 collectively. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Last card today. What else would you like to tell them about this situation? Thank you. Right there. That's the one. Well, that's pretty straightforward. We have be calm and keep going. Keep calm and carry on, pile number 3. We have number 10 with that card. Okay, and we did have 2 repeats of 10s with the 10 of swords with the 10 of that card. And that, my friends, 10 tends to represent completion, things coming to an end. Okay, be calm and keep going, and composure. Now, I will tell you the same exact thing I told pile number 1 today, because I feel like you're getting a similar message because you got the same literal angel guide card. What composure meant to them, pile 3, and I think what it means to you is, although you might feel really anxious or afraid or upset or like you're overthinking a lot on the inside, and understandably so, this isn't the angel saying, how dare you feel that way, like it's totally understandable, and I've been there too, pile 3, as literally every other human being on earth has been anxious, right? But, there's the but part. If you come off as composed, just one little nudge of advice in this situation, that might help you come to an even greater solution than if you don't, okay? Now, I'm not saying don't feel your anxiety, don't feel your feelings. I would never tell you that. Neither would spirit or angels, but at the same time, your answer in the interim until we get to this resolution here, this beautiful energetic change of, hardship, justice served, things are great, is acting composed in the meantime. Okay, so act with composure. Act like, things aren't bothering you as much as they are. And I don't know why specifically that is. I could draw a clarifier card, and actually I will do that. I'm getting the intuitive sense, pile number 3, that the reason why they're saying that is because I don't know if there's like someone involved in the situation that, I don't know, like they might, well, I'll get the card out before I say for sure, because I just want to be sure that I'm correct. Spirit, what do you mean by composure? Why are you giving this advice, or angels specifically? Well, that was quick. Anything else? Just those two? Okay. I think it's just two. Looks like two. Because of the Magician reversed and the Knight of Cups. Magician reversed can mean having struggles manifesting something, and the Knight of Cups can mean either you taking action with your emotions. Okay, so it might make it a little bit more difficult if you don't act composed, pile number 3. Either in the way of something that you're trying to manifest regarding action you're taking based on how you're feeling. Okay. Or it could also mean, because the court cards in tarot, like the Knight of Cups, can represent people, it's something that you're trying to manifest might be more difficult regarding someone who is likely somewhat younger, masculine energy, might be a water sign. That's another way that you can interpret court cards in tarot. All right. That, or the Knight of Cups can sometimes represent like a knight in shining armor. It tends to be kind of the most like dreamy, stereotypical knight in tarot because you're literally riding on a white horse, like coming to rescue somebody, okay? That can also mean that it'll be easier to rescue yourself from the situation if you remind yourself, okay, let's act composed. Okay, so you're kind of similar to pile 1 that way. They had a very similar message with that composure card, but yours is specifically because it will help you manifest something easier, likely related to either this person who's the Knight of Cups or actions you're trying to take based on your emotions because of this Knight of Cups. All right, so that's what they mean. And then, yeah, Healing Spirits Oracle, quite straightforward. Be calm and keep going. You're on the right path, pile number 3. There's really nothing you need to change. At this point, based on everything that's going on, I don't really see that you need to do much extra other than maybe that little composure nudge of advice. I mean, literally, Spirit's just like, be calm and keep going. You're doing great. You're well on your way towards resolution, towards finding the help that you need that might have been around, you just didn't notice it yet. Relieving your anxiety, justice being served, all those good things, and ways out of what seems to be rock bottom, or at least maybe feels like rock bottom right now. You'll glimpse that light, and you'll find what you're looking for. Okay, pile number 3. Beautiful. All 3 readings were beautiful today. Awesome. So, that was your reading for when you're overthinking, pile number 3. I hope, of course, most of all, that it helped you. That's what I care about most with my readings, but also that you're feeling less anxious, that you're feeling more grounded, that you're feeling more assured in your path. That's what this reading is for. And if so, please like the video, please comment down below, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. You know, the usual YouTube spiel, you know what to do. I just mention it because every little bit does help the channel grow and keeps it sustained and helps me continue the mission of empowering people and providing clarity and calm and peace. So thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, pile 3. Full of more justice and less anxiety and noticing things that might be around that will probably help you on your journey that you just haven't glimpsed yet, okay? And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.